Welcome, Blue Jay fans. Welcome to episode 22 of Talking Jays. I'm your host, George Long. Today's topic, we're going to talk about Danny Jansen. Is he a top 10 catcher in the league? Um, as of right now, it is Sunday, May 2nd. I know the Blue Jays played this afternoon. I did not see the game. I DVR'd it. I had to work. I'm going to watch that game right after I finished doing this cast. But I know they took the first two from the Atlanta Braves with Alejandro Kirk, game one with those two dingers. Obvious choice for game two. I would have made this choice myself too. Go with the hot stick in game two. This afternoon, it's a day game after a night game, so I would anticipate Danny Jansen got the start today. I didn't even see the lineup. I was too busy at work to tune into it and see what the lineup was. I usually do, but I didn't get a chance today. So, but and I know Kirk got injured last night too, with the hip flexor, I believe, something in the hip area. That's what it looked like, a hip flexor, anyway. So he got pulled, but he wasn't going to play game three anyways with the daytime after night. So we'll see what happens there with Kirk. But I want to talk about Danny Jansen. He's getting ripped a lot on the online world, Twitter world, Blue Jay fan groups, this and that. Get rid of him, release this bum, let Kirk take the reins. Just relax a bit, people. Relax. Kirk's 22-year-old kid. Not the best shape catcher in the world. This is a grind. 162 game season is a grind. Danny Jansen, he earned his stripes a bit last two seasons. Number one catcher last 2 years. Last year, I ripped him a lot last year. I thought he was a problem behind the plate with his pitching staff. Did not call a great game. Obviously, his pitchers, second most walks last year behind the Boston Red Sox. Last season, nobody ripped Danny Jansen more personally than I did last year. But this year, I'm giving him full accolades. Is he a top 10 catcher? I'm here to say he is a top 10 catcher, and I'm going to show some stats and show him one of the most underrated offensive stats to me, anyways. Not to me, but to others out there in the baseball world. But to me, it's a stat that when I'm picking a baseball team, because it's I do coach too, but when I pick a team, I look for this type of player when they get in the box and this and that. So I'll talk a little further about that, but and the other thing, we're early in the season. Danny Jansen has 49 at bats. I looked it up the other day. So 49 at bats. When I hear interviews with MLB players, they usually say it takes about 100, 120 plate appearances to really, start feeling it. And so we're only halfway there with Danny Jansen. So be patient with Danny. He's not going to be a 280 hitter. He probably won't even be a 250 hitter. I can see Jansen landing around 220 over in the overall numbers when it's all said and done. But he's going to have stellar defense behind the plate. And to me, a catcher number one job has got to be be your best defensive player. It has to be your catcher behind the plate. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's got to be your number one defensive player. And I'm going to show a stat here. Like I said, right now he is their best defensive player by far. So let's take a look at last season. You can see Jansen last year in the league on the right-hand side. He finished with a 3.0 defensive WAR. That ranked him 55 in the league. Catchers are always a little higher. You can see a lot of catchers out there, 1, 2, 3, 4 catchers in there, and most of them were probably much higher. That ate up those up to 45 and things like that. So it's easier for the catchers to earn those defensive WAR because they're involved in every single pitch. So and overall, this is where you want to look at now to see where he ranks with his peers, with his other catchers, and ranked 22 last year. 1 to 10 upper tier, he wasn't there. 11 to 20 mid class wasn't there. He finished in the lower standards for the catchers last season. So he even finished behind Gary Sanchez, which is, to me, it's hard to do that, but hey, he did. So that's what I'm talking about last year. Did he earn his rips last year? Yeah, I thought he earned his rips. But this year, with his 2 years under his belt, the last 2 years, you can see the growth in Danny Jansens behind the plate. I see a lot of catchers. I talk about the one knee down. He don't do that, and that's what I love about him. But the other thing that he does not do that I see a lot of catchers doing is catching those balls on the outside, inside, and pulling them in or up or pulling them down. He sticks those pitches and gets those calls a lot of the time. So Gary Sanchez, I've watched a lot of Yankees games a little bit there, and he's a notoriously pull the ball in, and umpires do not like that. I've said that before on many of the podcasts. You got to land it, stick it, be quiet behind the plate once that pitch is on its way, and be quiet for that umpire. Because there's a guy behind you that's calling balls and strikes. The quieter you are in front of him, it makes his job that much easier. You remember watching, Glavine and Smoltz and what's the other guy's name with the Atlanta Braves? But they were just popping the outside corner. It was off the plate, but still getting the calls. Quiet catchers. Charlie O'Brien, very quiet behind the plate when he caught for the Braves. So this is what I see out of Jansen. So if you take a look at some of his numbers this season, right now his defensive WAR is 1.9. So you see where that ranks amongst the league right now, 24th. So he cut that. He 55 last year. He's 24th right now overall in defensive WAR, and that's. Look at some of those shortstops. Trevor Story, Willie Adames, 30th is Jose Iglesias. He's finished with some of these defensive gems, top 24 in the league. And then if you take a look to the left-hand column there, this is the numbers what he is with his peers. Right now he's 10th in defensive WAR with catchers. So there's where you want to be, the upper echelon of catchers, with your peers and battling with them. So to me, defensively, pitching staff. Your catcher is your main cog for that pitching staff. And the pitching staff, right now, I haven't looked at over the last 2 weeks, but I know the bullpen was a top 3 bullpen. ERA was in the top 10. So Danny Jansen is a huge part of that. He was a huge part of it last year on the bad side. He is a huge, I'm telling you, he's a huge part of it this year on the good side. And, if you take a look at the Blue Jays batting order, their lineup, they're not going to be hurting to score runs. To me, Danny Jansen is really important to the squad with his defensive ability. Let the big boys hit. I know he's on an 0-for-34, 35 slump right now. Again, only 49 plate appearances. Give him some time. I'm not going to say he's going to bust out. I did see a game on the weekend, a couple games against Tampa Bay. He had some good at-bats. Drove the ball to right field, the opposite field, so he stayed on it pretty good, but it was atom balls. So, let's face it, those Tampa Bay outfielders, that's 3 center fielders out there. So they made their plays. So he, to me, when I watch him at the plate, he's drifting a bit. He's not. I find that front foot. Let's see, yeah. So, and it's coming out this way, and he's stepping away from the ball instead of stepping to the ball, driving the ball. His foot's coming out a bit, and he's getting the bat head out a little too much, and it's weak grounders to third base, shortstop, whatever side he's pulling it to. So he's got to fix his batting stance. I'm not an expert at it. I'm just watching him and seeing what I'm seeing with that front foot. He's bailing, and it's coming out. He's doing what I call the old Greg Burns. So the foot is swinging out this way and not too straight to the ball. So that's what I see with Jansen. But give him time. He'll figure it out. Let's not all rip at him. Let's give him some time. But I want to show one offensive stat that, to me, it's an underrated stat. We don't give it enough credit. We should, but we don't. But when I coach baseball teams, I look for players like this. So it is plate appearances. Sorry, it is pitches seen per plate appearances. So if you're battling every single at bat, and Danny Jansen does, These are the leaders right here. With Arias 4.72, Chapman 4.5 pitches seen per plate appearance, and then you just go down the list: Robbie Grossman, Austin Meadows. So these guys, these are the big boys in the American League. Not big boys, but these are the boys that are seeing the most pitches. Danny Jansen for plate appearances, and let's say Danny doesn't get on this list because he hasn't had enough plate appearances yet. But when he does, this is what he's doing right now. Pitches seen per plate appearance, 4.53. Simeon's at 4.16. Guerrero at 4. Like, nobody is even close right now to Danny Jansen. So at 4.53, if he had enough at-bats to qualify, or plate appearances to qualify, he'd be second in the American League right now for plate appearance, or for why am I saying plate appearances? He'd be second in the American League right now for pitches seen per plate appearance. And to me, that is a huge, huge stat, especially when you're batting 8th or 9th in the batting order. If you're making that pitcher work, making him work. You know, I've seen Danny get up to 8, 9 pitches per plate appearance at times, and that's where that number's coming at 4.53 averaging. He is making pitchers work. Not getting the results. Will those balls fall in eventually? Yes, they'll fall in. He'll get on a little bit of a roll. Don't worry about that. Let's be patient with him because he's doing the job behind the plate. That's the number one job for a catcher, to do the job behind the plate, call a good game, and he's doing that. Let's not look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm getting very frustrated because he's worked the last 2 years to get where he's at, and he's getting ripped. And just give him a little bit of time, to find his footing at the plate. He's doing the job behind the plate. That's what he's got to do. We'd be ripping the pitching staff if the pitching staff was bottom 10 in the league, and we wouldn't be ripping Danny about it. And if Danny if he just relax on the pitching side of it with his pitching staff and concentrate more on his hitting, could he be a 250 hitter? Yeah, he'd probably be a 250 hitter. Is that any good for the Blue Jays? For Danny Jansen to bat 250 and to go back to what he was last year with not calling good games, with the Blue Jays walks being up. We just can't we just can't be all greedy all the time with our players. Give him time. He'll find his footing. He's only going to be a 220 hitter. He's not going to give you a lot of pop. But there's other guys in the order that's there to give you pop. Does he see his pitches per plate appearance? He definitely does. He's seen, as I showed the stat, he's seeing the most on the Blue Jays. He is making the pitchers work. He's battling at the plate. And for me as a coach, when I pick a team, I look for those battlers at the plate. I look for those guys that, take it serious, will foul off tough pitches and see another pitch. I've seen me pick players when I'm battling between the 12th and the 13th player. Who am I taking? Who am I cutting? It comes down to battle at the plate. It always does for me. It always did. It comes down to battle at the plate, and because if both guys are equally with the glove, which I've had over the numbers of years, both guys, not stellars with the glove, but they're average with the glove. It comes down to battle at the plate. And that, to me, Danny Jansen does that. He battles at the plate, sees pitches, fouls them off. They will fall in eventually for him. So let's give him a little bit of rope. Give him at least another 50, 60 plate appearances. See where he's at. He's not going to be a 250, 280 hitter. He's just not going to be that. But if he sees those pitches at the bottom of the order rolls around, and here comes Springer Dinger and guys like that, and Bichette, after this pitcher has just finished throwing 7, 8 pitches to Danny Jansen, the battle to get him out. That is underrated for a ball team. No question about it. That is underrated. We all love the Alejandro Kirk story, no question. Is he going to be a better hitter than Danny Jansen? Definitely going to be a better hitter. Not even close to my eyes in the catching scheme of things behind the plate. 22-year-old kid. Will he get there? Yeah. He's got to be in better shape, though, if he wants to be a catcher. That's my opinion. I know Jason Varitek wasn't in great shape either, and guys like that. He has that build, so maybe he'll be fine. To me, he's not there yet. Don't give him the keys to the Porsche just yet. Let Danny Jansen be our number one catcher. Get us through the season. Game 1 in the playoffs, postseason. Look at the matchup. Hey, maybe you want to go with Alejandro Kirk behind the plate in Game 1 of a postseason game with Ryu or somebody like that. See where everything stats up. But for my bang for the buck, it'd be Danny Jansen calling that game. That is more important than 3 at bats for a catcher. Is being involved in every single play behind the plate, every single defensive play behind the plate. 3 at bats it just doesn't compare to what he does behind the plate. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. So again, but Danny will come around. It's called a batting average for a reason because it all averages out. At the end of the season, he'll be between 200, 220, hitter. There's going to be no ifs, ands, or buts. He's not going to light it up. I'd be surprised if he gets over 230. It'd be a big season if he does. But that's my take on Danny Jansen. Battles at the plate, as we've seen, with these numbers here. Danny Jansen, 4.53 pitches seen per plate appearance, tops among the Blue Jays by far, and that is by far when you average it out over all that. With this right here, he'd be ranked second right now if he had as many plate appearances as some of these other guys. And once it climbs, maybe his number will go down a bit. It probably will. It'll go down a bit, but I'm very happy with his battle at the plate. I see him battling, so that's all you want. You want a guy who's going to battle, not give at bats away. So, he'll find his stroke. He'll find the barrels, and they will find some grass where they will fall in. So that's it. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to go watch the game against the Braves, Game 3. I think Stripling is starting, and I have no idea who's starting for the Braves. Oh, I think it's Ian Anderson. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching another Sunday night edition of Talking Jays, episode 22. Let me know in the comments what you think about Danny Jansen. Am I way off base? Or am I starting to open a little bit of eyes on what he brings to this Blue Jay team? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like if you like this video. It gets out there to other Blue Jay fans, YouTubers who may want to see some of my content. More likes, the better it gets out there. So thanks, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.